Hello, I'm Jerry Rocha, comedian, cancer fighter, podcaster, gaming streamer, man's man? Someone who will patiently wait on hold with either customer service or tech support until you get the and lover of video games, especially the ones I grew up with. A long, forgotten era. A time when magic filled the air. Magic and the smells that would accompany whatever person my mom met at the bingo hall and brought back home with her from the bingo hall. And weed. Lots of weed. Those all scents would just kind of mingle. But also, magic. Right now, I'd like to talk to you about a game that for most of my life I considered was just a confusing mess at best, mostly just a steaming pile of shit. One of those I'd rather shove my dong into a tank of piranha than ever play this game kind of games. And sadly, there were quite a few of those back in my day. But still, magic alive! And then, of course, when you hear me say confusing mess, steaming pile of shit, I'd rather blow a hyena than play this game, I bet you're thinking I'm talking about the Friday the 13th game for the NES. And you'd be absolutely correct. I never had this game growing up, none of my friends had this game, none of my cousins had this game, so I never got to play it. And I was okay with that, not just because I'd heard it was an awful game, which we all had heard that, but also because at that time I was still scared shitless of Jason. I mean, come on, I was 11. I had never seen any of the Friday the 13th movies. I'd actually never seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies either. And back then, all I knew of Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger is what the 11-year-old kids who had seen the movie would describe to me, and that was way more fucked up than anything in the movies. I would see the Friday the 13th game at a Blockbuster or at a Toys R Us, and I would just run past that motherfucker, afraid that if I made direct eye contact or lingered too long, Jason would just hunt me down in real life. What I never noticed about the cover, and what would have probably eased my fears just a little, was when you see the cover, you see Jason wielding an axe coming right at you, but then behind him is this complete radical 80s neon background. So it's like, is he trying to attack me, or is this a workout game? Could this be like a fitness game for the Power Pad? Burn fat with Jason. Had that been the case, I probably would have loved getting this game. Now that I'm well into my 40s and still a little afraid of Jason, not even the movie Jason, the NES Jason from this game, I was at a retro video game swap meet, and there it was, this cartridge, Friday the 13th for the NES for like $10. So I went and asked my fiance if I could borrow $10. I told her I was buying flossers, and I walked away with the game that had scared the shit out of me as a kid. I noticed something on the cover art that was more frightening than anything from any horror movie. The logo. This was a scarlet letter of shame that meant most likely whatever game you were playing was a giant pile of shit. And back then I was too dumb to realize, oh, it's I probably better not buy it because they had all the coolest properties. There's no way this is gonna suck. And then 2 minutes in, I'm like, these motherfuckers. So I got over my decades-long fear of this game. I got over and I said, I have this, I'm taking it home. I remember even looking at the art at every red light on the way home just so I could be less and less afraid of it. I mean, I had it. I was either gonna play it or just dump its carcass at Central Park and say that a cyclist killed it. And then I finally played the game. And oh man, my first thoughts were, this motherfucker is even worse than anyone had said it was. Imagine someone describing to you the band Three Doors Down, and after they describe 2 or 3 songs, you're like, there's no way any band could be this shitty, I'm not buying it. And then you hear a Three Doors Down song, and you're like, oh my god, they're worse than what this person said. That was how it was playing this game. I wandered around this piece of shit for 45 minutes. I went in and out of cabins. I was throwing rocks at these tiny Bigfoot-looking motherfuckers. I was trying to avoid the wolves in the fucking woods, and then I got lost every time I went in the woods, and I never saw Jason one time. To me, this game was as bad as that Atari E.T. game where they took all the copies and stuffed in Area 51 or whatever. And then I was like, okay, I own it. Let me try it again. I turned it on. I immediately see Jason, and he beats the living shit out of me. Mops the floor with me in like 10 seconds. game over. Fuck this bullshit. I was telling myself, you should have known better. Like I'd said before, all I had heard about this game, all my buddies had heard about this game, was that it sucked, that it was a random shitty mess that made no sense. And I forgot to say, those were actually my beloved grandmother's last words. Oye, mijito, don't play the Friday the 13th game for the Nintendo. Oh, it's such a random shitty mess. And then she died. Although, even though it was a squash match that I had no chance in, it was kind of cool seeing Jason that time. No, stop. The game fucking stunk. I can scratch that one off and never touch it again. I mean, nothing about the game made any sense. And why didn't the counselors fuck? It's Friday the 13th. Shouldn't there be some boinking? Shouldn't have that been part of the game? If two counselors can boink each other in each cabin before Jason finds him, you win. Game over. You did it. Hello? I mean, I had conquered my pants-shitting fear of this game. And for what? For this shit? I conned my fiancé into giving me $10 to play this. For this? But there was this odd little voice in the back of my head, and not the odd little voice I'm used to, the one that says, hey pal, maybe you should slow it down when I'm masturbating. No, this is a whole different voice. This was a new voice that, despite all the evidence as to how bad this game was, kept chirping in my brain. Maybe it wasn't that bad. It was kind of cool when you fought Jason. Why would I think that? This game was shit. I played it. What else did I need? But there was that fucking voice. So to shut that chirping up, I went to Google and I typed in something like, the Friday the 13th game is stupid, right? And sure enough, there were all these posts backing it up. Yes, it's terrible, it's a mess, it's garbage, it sucks, it doesn't make any sense. But then I saw one little blurb saying the opposite. It said some shit like, you know, if you actually learn how to play this game, it's pretty fun. And then I found like 10 videos explaining actually how to play the game and to finish the game. And it made the game look fun. I found out the most challenging way to do this is to be a female counselor, because that way you get to fight Jason's mom 3 times, Pamela Voorhees. And she's represented in the game as a floating severed head. Oh shit, I might have to do this. I not only get to kill Jason, but I also get to kill his hoe-ass mother in the same game? So I tried it a 3rd time. Still not really researching what to do. I just thought, let me just dive in. And it was the same thing. I wandered around, Jason killed me, but I found a fucking machete. And that was pretty cool. So I committed to really paying attention to how to beat this game, to how to play this game. I was gonna finish this game Kiefer Sutherland, Young Guns 2 style. I read all the game FAQ walkthroughs. I practiced and practiced. I journaled as to how to beat this thing. Might have been the nerdiest thing I've ever done. Worse than the poems I wrote to Chitara from the Thundercats when I was, well, a long time ago. During times of magic and naked Thundercats lying in wait for that, I learned there's 2 ways to beat the game, an easy way and the hard way. The easy way is to choose the counselor Mark, but he looks like the definition of a fucking Soch. So I didn't want to be him. Granted, he's got the ups, that means he could dunk on a 20-foot rim, but he also looks like somebody who was the main architect of Project 2025. So fuck that guy, he was out. I went with the other best counselor, Chrissy. She could also dunk on a 20-foot rim. And playing as Chrissy lets you unlock the coolest thing in the game. I think Jason's mother's sweater. Only a woman character can equip it. So fuck yeah, Team Chrissy. You kill Pamela the first time to get the torch. You kill Pamela the second time to get the sweater. You kill Pamela the third time to get the best weapon in the game, the pitchfork. And after a weekend of practicing, I did it. I beat the fucking thing. It was bloody. It was messy. None of the other counselors made it. Maybe one of them did, I think. Also, a lot of the kids at the camp who I was supposed to protect, well, they didn't make it either. But you have to do what you have to do to survive this game. If I had to choose between killing Pamela a second time and getting the sweater or saving some of the kids, I had to be like James Kirk in Star Trek VI. Let them die. There is nothing random about this game at all. Jason travels in 3 distinct patterns. It changes once he attacks the kids in the cabins. And once you realize what path he's on, you can hunt him pretty effectively. And that's the coolest part. When you figure it all out, you get to go hunt that motherfucker. Now, I love this game. I really see it as a massive hidden gem in the NES library. I had to learn to play it, but once I did, it went from a confusing lump of shit to actually a really fun and kind of spooky game. And you get to kill his hoe-ass mother 3 different times. I highly recommend you try this game out during spooky season. No better time. I've become a Friday the 13th Nintendo apologist. This game was like Cochise from Three Amigos for me. You meet Friday the 13th. At first, you think it's a terrible game. You fight. Then, you get to know it. You come to respect each other. And at the end of the game, your friends. What's your gaming cochise? Let me know in the comments, please. I'd love to hear it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, spread the word, all that good shit. Until next time, stay safe out there. Don't make a fuck out of me.